Anajar and Levine Accident Attorneys. Call 1-800-747-FREE. This is ESPN 106.3 WUUB Jupiter, a Good Karma Brands radio station. Live from the Anajar and Levine Accident Attorney Studios.
The man your man could smell.
Theo Dorsey is theoretically speaking.
But are you a different animal and the same beast?
What does that mean, Kobe Bryant?
Streaming live on YouTube. Here's Theo Dorsey.
Good people. That's right. It's a Teddy and Tina Tuesday here on Theoretically Speaking. C-Cat on the ones and twos. We'll have Tina drop in here in about 20 minutes or so for some theoreticals. And I'm not even theoretically speaking here. I'm talking real to you right now. 2.45 million viewers last night on that WNBA draft. 2.45 million viewers. When I tell you Caitlin Clark got the golden touch, she's got the Midas touch. She can do no wrong, it feels like, in sports, well, except for win a national championship. But the viewership, the way she's able to transcend the kind of numbers that the women's game has gotten and elevated to a new platform here, oh my goodness. And that's got me thinking about one thing. Really, there's two reasons why tanking is on my mind today. I'll get to the second reason, but one thing for specifically in the WNBA, do you know how many franchises wish they could have been the ones selecting Caitlin Clark number 1 overall and having jerseys sell out within an hour and having fans clamoring to get season tickets? Like, the Indiana Fever came up, and it's because they were down the past couple of years. Tanking, sometimes necessary in this sport. But the reason why tanking is on the mind right now is because not only is it a Teddy and Tina Tuesday here on Theoretically Speaking, it's also tip-off Tuesday for the NBA play-in. This is year 4 of the official format of the NBA play-in games, and thank God that for the third time in 4 years, LeBron James is in the play-in, because that means we are actually allowed to talk about it, right? When LeBron James is involved in something, not only is it something that can be highlighted and talked about, but it also matters to a certain extent, and it's got people getting a little weird. LeBron James and the LA Lakers are going to tip off the NBA play-in tonight on TNT. Can we get our NBA on TNT music going right here? What's our schedule here tonight? There it is. So tonight, tipping off the NBA play-in, LeBron James and the LA Lakers playing at the New Orleans Pelicans. At the Pelicans with a 7 seed on the line. And following that is going to be the Golden State Warriors traveling to the Sacramento Kings. That on Inside the NBA on TNT, or as my wife Ashley likes to call them, the 4 bald guys, which I like that. I love that nickname. C-Cat, how do you feel? The 4 bald guys. I mean, it's endearing. Yeah. It's true.
Spot the lie. Like that.
It works. I don't know how much they would like that, but she loves it. The 4 bald guys tonight on the coverage as we'll get NBA play-in Tuesday, tipping off the action. You'll have to wait till tomorrow to see the Heat beat the Sixers, but tonight we get Lakers, Pelicans, Warriors versus the Kings. And that brings me to this right here. We can cut the NBA on TNT. That brings me to this right here. Everybody and their mama is looking at the Western Conference standings right now, and they see at the top, number 1 seed, the Oklahoma City Thunder, number 2 seed, the Denver Nuggets, the reigning champions in the NBA. And it's got people thinking, if LeBron James and the Lakers win tonight against the Pelicans and get that 7 seed, they earn their grand prize in this thing for beating a pretty, a pesky Pelicans team. Very winnable game for the Lakers. Is a 7-game series date with the juggernaut that is the Denver Nuggets, led by Nikola Jokic. And that's where the tanking word kind of comes in here. And tanking in sports literally is just strategic losing. It's strategic failing. It's short-term pain for long-term gain. And Mike Greenberg, who you hear here on Greeny 10 to noon on ESPN 106.3, Mike Greenberg on Get Up had a little bit of a back and forth with the up-and-coming superstar in NBA and basketball analysis, Andrea Carter, because he's been pushing the propaganda that LeBron James and the Los Angeles Lakers should be looking to lose tonight to avoid playing the Denver Nuggets in the first round. Take a listen to this.
Andrea Carter, yesterday, absolutely yelled at me about my belief, and I hope that now that you've had a day to sort of let it sink in, you've realized the error of your ways. The Lakers would inarguably be better off if they lose tonight than if they win.
Nothing good comes from ducking smoke, Greeny. Nothing good comes from trying to dodge an opponent. You put yourself in the mindset that you're not talented enough to beat that team. I don't like it. And then you've got to play Sacramento or the Warriors, and you only have one chance to beat those teams, two teams that have also beaten you. I would rather take a series, even if it's against the Denver Nuggets, the reigning champions, who I know the Lakers haven't won since 2022 against this franchise, but I would take a 7-game series with LeBron over one game coming off of ducking smoke.
Okay,
you get the rest.
Listen, I've been ducking smoke all my life, and it's worked out okay for me, so I don't know about that.
First off, world-class line right there by Greeny. I mean, kind of predictable, yes, but world-class right there. Greeny on point as always, talking about how he's been ducking smoke. And for those that don't know, you're ducking smoke, you're avoiding confrontation, and that's a very Greeny thing to admit. But no, it brings you to this point right here. Is it credible? Is it admirable for an NBA team or a professional team of any sort to lose on purpose, right? Tanking is losing on purpose. In this sense, it's not necessarily tanking for a draft pick, but it is tanking for a better situation. You're losing against the Pelicans, so you have a shot against the Oklahoma City Thunder, who enter this postseason. Though they have an MVP candidate in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the Thunder, as a 1 seed, also have I would just call it a lack of experience. They haven't been here before. And with a team like the Lakers, who have been here time after time, and a guy like LeBron James, who's in his 21st year, you feel like at the very least, if you can't out-talent them, you can outsmart them. So I get wanting to play the New Orleans Pelicans. But there's two real reasons why this is an unrealistic scenario for the Los Angeles Lakers. Number one is, LeBron James, you can't, if you're LeBron James, you legitimately can't at least publicly look like you're avoiding anybody in the NBA. When you got chosen written across your back, when you're the king and when you're the face of the league like you are if you're LeBron James and you're with the Los Angeles Lakers, you can't be ducking a guy named Nikola Jokic, who is, again, chasing his third MVP and his second straight title. But in the larger picture of things, in the pantheon of things, LeBron James, even in his latter years, ducking a guy or ducking the Nuggets, it just looks bad. It feels bad. The other reason why I don't think LeBron James and the Lakers have that option, though, is, who's picking the Lakers to be able to also beat the Thunder in that next series? But before they do that, if they lose against the Nuggets, they're going to have to play a second play-in game for their playoff lives. And I just don't know if that's something you would want to bank on with a guy when you're relying so much on Anthony Davis and his health, as well as LeBron James at his age being able to play in games separated by just 2 days that are win or go home. It's not an option for the Los Angeles Lakers. But that's not to say that tanking isn't a good thing. There's a lot of people that are anti-tanking in sports. There's a lot of people who they turn their nose up at it. They feel like it's something that should be frowned upon, or it's something that is an insult to the credibility of the game. But I, for one, feel like tanking is a great solution for a lot of problems that riddle NBA, NFL, even some NHL teams today. Tanking is a necessary evil to pull your team out of sports mediocrity, out of sports purgatory, and I, for one, am all for it. And anybody that feels like they're anti-tanking, take a look in the mirror. Do you think the San Antonio Spurs are up in arms or are sad about those years that they were down now that they've got the alien and Victor Wembanyama, who's taken the league by the storm, who almost won Defensive Player of the Year in his rookie season, led the league in blocks? Or how about the 5 championships that they have out there in San Antonio, thanks to when the Spurs tanked down the stretch in order to draft Tim Duncan #1 overall some 25 years ago? Tanking in sports is a necessary evil to deliver some well-earned and well-deserved results for fans. And I think that the people, all of the fans especially, that turn their nose up at organizations that tank publicly and turn their nose up at losing on purpose for some short-term pain and long-term gain, you're just short-sighted. And not only are you short-sighted, you're likely a hypocrite, because I, for one, see that tanking happens also in our own personal lives here. And again, the Los Angeles Lakers tonight in the play-in game against the Pelicans, they wouldn't be quote-unquote tanking. And nor do I think LeBron James or Anthony Davis or those Lakers would have the guts to go out there and roll over for a Pelicans team like that. They got too much pride. They got too much to play for. And LeBron's not afraid of the Nuggets, even though he should be. The Lakers have lost 8 straight to them, half by double digits, and the Nuggets aren't losing in a 7-game series to the Los Angeles Lakers. There's no way they're going to tank that game tonight against the Pelicans. If the Lakers lose, it's because the Pelicans won. But I do say this. Tanking in sports oftentimes can be a great thing. And tanking in your own personal lives, I feel like people do it all the time. And what do I mean by tanking in your own personal life? It's short-term pain for long-term gain. And I think about specifically, I mean, here's one example. You ever seen some dude with the starter dreads, with the little twist? I call them dookie dreads, all right? It's like you go through an ugly phase when you want to be able to grow your dreads all the way out. That's some tanking right there in life. You're going to be ridiculed. I remember in high school and middle school when the dudes used to come through, especially back in the day when a guy would get some cornrows and get some braids and there was no hang time yet. You know how many jokes we used to conjure up? You know how many people will make you the butt of the joke of the day for years as you go through that ugly phase to come out on the other side with your long locks and now people are praising you? That's personal life tanking. Or how about this one? I think you'll appreciate this one, C-Cat. Everybody, or at least most people that I know, on Thanksgiving morning, what are you really doing? You're starving yourself. Mm-hmm. You're leaving a lot of room. You are putting your body through angst, through worry. Your body's like, when are we going to get our next meal? It's because you're making room for that Thanksgiving dinner. So when you line up for that plate and you see the mashed potatoes and the turkey and the dressing and the yams and all of that great food, you've got room for it so you can be gluttonous and really take in on it.
Yeah,
that's some tanking.
I didn't really relate to the dreads conversation, but now I'm hearing you.
There you go.
With the Thanksgiving. You're reaching me now. It penetrated to where I got to my brain. I understood.
You don't know anybody with the dookie dreads? You didn't have no friends back in the day?
I never went and tried out the dookie dreads in my time growing up.
Okay.
It never occurred to me. Maybe I will now. Now I see that there's long-term dividends.
Yes. If you get the dreads early, you have no hang time. It looks bad. You kind of like the Coolio type of look. But at the end of the day, then once you get the long locks, people start feeling you. You go through the ugly phase. It's a little short-term tanking for long-term gain. I got another one. Do you want to hear one more personal life tanking one?
Maybe it applies to somebody else that didn't relate to the first two.
Okay, how about this? This is a good one. We go through all this all the time. It used to happen to me in the parking garage back when we were ESPN West Palm was at the Phillips Point Tower down there in downtown West Palm Beach. You ever been headed towards an elevator? You're in a rush, right? You're late for something. You need to get on the elevator to get up there and get to your meeting, your class, whatever you got going on. But then you see kind of a crowd of people walking into that elevator. And you know that if you walk at your normal pace or in a sense of urgency and you get trapped in that box with those strangers, you're not going to like that experience. This is a smaller version of tanking. But you ever slowed down? Let that elevator door close and catch the next one?
So that you're riding solo?
Make yourself a little bit more late, right? A little short-term pain for long-term gain. You don't have to deal with the social awkwardness and the weird, the worst thing for me, C-Cat, you hop in the elevator and it's always either something about the weather, right? It's some small talk. It's something that, what am I supposed to say here? What are we doing in this box? Can we just be silent and look at the walls?
Yeah.
Not a big elevator guy, not a small talk in the elevator guy, unless I know you. So, again, we all tank in our own personal lives, and our professional teams, when they do tank, a lot of times there's some good things that come from it. The Indiana Fever, though it might not have been on purpose, they might have just been bad. I'll be honest, I'll be the first one to tell you I hadn't been paying enough attention to the WNBA to let you know whether or not if the tanking was intentional for the Fever. But I'll tell you this, it's paying dividends with Caitlin Clark walking through that door and being the point guard of your organization and the face of your franchise. Tanking is almost always a good thing, especially when the opportunity cost of that is just being mediocre. Just being good for the sake of being good. Imagine being a Pittsburgh Steelers fan. You're just hovering right over 900 or 500 for the past 20 years of Mike Tomlin. You're not contending. You're not threatening anybody at the top, but you're also not picking at the top of the draft. And you're stuck with quarterback play like Mitch Trubisky and Kenny Pickett. And now you have your pick of the litter between Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. Tanking is a good thing. It saves franchises from themselves. And C-Cat, I really don't understand why there's anybody against it. If you're one of those, please let me know by tapping in right here to Theoretically Speaking. 888-760-3776. 888-760-3776. Is tanking a good thing? Are you pro or anti-tanking? And also, I do wonder too, man. I'm actually amped up for the NBA play-in tournament tonight. I can't wait for the games to actually start mattering. It's win or go home for some teams. It's win and secure the 7th seed and get in the playoffs for some teams, and that excites me. No more DNPs, no more rest. Like, guys are out at it in the NBA right now, going after it, trying to chase the dream. I'm pumped up for that. Hit us up, though, on the Baptist Health Hotline, 888-760-3776, 888-760-3776. Are you pro or anti-tanking? And also, how pumped up are you for the NBA play-in? I think Draymond Green on the Draymond Green show was talking about the play-in game. Well, how does he feel about the play-in? Does he have mixed feelings?
I hate the play-in, just so you all. I absolutely hate it. It's the best thing ever created. When you look at the play-in and what it's done for basketball, it's the best thing ever created.
It legitimately is. I wholeheartedly agree with him. I don't understand why he said he hates it. He probably hates it because the Warriors keep ending up there.
Yeah.
It's legitimately the best thing for basketball. It makes the end of the regular season worthwhile watching, and it gives you some high-stake games, some one-and-dones on the back end. It's perfect, kind of like Week 18 in the NFL.
Yeah, I'd say so. I think that was a very mature thing to understand from Draymond. I think the fact that professing how much he hates it because of his current situations and separating that from the fact that it is a fantastic thing, I think it kind of ties into the tanking conversation as well, because Andrea Carter was saying how you can't give that mentality to your team that you're not good enough to win on your own volition, you're not good enough to win on the path that you were given. Listen, these are adults.
Yeah.
These guys are employees. They're in the real world now. They can face harsh realities that the path going through the 1 seed is probably an easier path to get that ultimate goal than the path going through the 2 seed. They're adult enough to understand that, and we should treat them that way.
You should be. And also, I would say, hey, do you want Victor Wembanyama on your team, or do you want him protecting the rim against you?
Yeah. In all those circumstances.
I would say I'd rather be throwing lobs to the guy than him beating my shot down at the rim. Hit us up on the Baptist Health Hotline. What's your stance on tanking? Are you anti-tank or are you pro-tank like me? The Baptist Health Hotline presented by Baptist Health Orthopedic Care. Are you experiencing foot and ankle pain and need to see an expert in the field? Baptist Health Orthopedic Care has a team of foot and ankle orthopedic surgeons and specialists who are regarded as leaders in their specialty. Visit baptisthealth.net/ortho to learn more today. Baptist Health Orthopedic Care combines its resources of experienced physicians and leading-edge treatments and technology to provide advanced orthopedic, foot and ankle, joint replacement, spine, and sports medicine care. Visit baptisthealth.net/ortho for more information today. Baptist Health Orthopedic Care has offices conveniently located in Palm Beach County through the Florida Keys. Learn more by visiting baptisthealth.net/ortho, 888-760-3776. That's the Baptist Health Hotline number to call in. Pro or anti-tanking, and how pumped are you for the NBA play-in? And also, it is a Teddy and Tina Tuesday. We have theoreticals coming up with Tina. And this question here is going to be very topical because it is a celebratory day for Tina. I can't wait to be able to celebrate her when we bring her in. But again, tanking for me, I've seen it work wonders for teams. I've seen it work wonders for franchises. If you're a Lakers fan, tank or not, whether or not they do it on purpose, you should be rooting for the Lakers to lose tonight, because what we do know is there ain't a shot in hell. You know, you can have LeBron on his A game. You can have a healthy AD for 7 games. You can have Christian Wood come back. You can have all things line up in your favor. Darvin Ham could channel his inner Eric Spoelstra. Don't see it happening, but hell, people can dream. And there ain't no way in hell that they're going to be able to beat the Denver Nuggets in a 7-game series, unless somehow the guy who seems indestructible in Nikola Jokic, tweaks an ankle or something. I just can't see that happening. So, yeah, if you're a Lakers fan, you need to be rooting for a loss tonight and hope that either the Lakers, let you off easy and just fall out of the play-in and don't waste your time, or they win against the Warriors or the Sacramento Kings and move on to get to play the Thunder. That's best case scenario for Lakers fans out there.
Yeah, I think a lot of proponents that are anti-tank or anti-intentional lose is like there's a karmic way of this, right?
Yeah.
Like if you start losing on purpose, you won't be able to flip that switch, or the sports gods, the sports powers that be won't treat you very well with that next bounce, right? But that's all theoretical speaking. That's all very mental type stuff. And I think there is little to say that. I think you put just facts in front of another, your chances of beating this team are a lot greater than your chances of beating the B team.
Yeah, it's just about clearing a better route for yourself. It's about acquiring better players. Sometimes the tank is also about, hey, We need to cut loose of this mediocre quarterback. Kirk Cousins is winning a few too many games to get rid of him, but not enough games to get you to the promised land. The Falcons are going to learn the hard way about that. We got Theoreticals with Tina when we come back, but first, CCAT, can you tell the good people about speaking of tanking, I wouldn't call it tanking, but they didn't start the season off super well. The Miami Marlins out there at Lone Depot Park.
That's the thing. When you go to a Marlins game, you're going for much more than just baseball. You're going to engulf yourself in the culture, in the fun, in the atmosphere. That's why you go to Lone Depot Park, to also enjoy the baseball. Look at these dates coming up. Fiesta Fridays. If you need Friday plans, look no further. Listen up right now because you will go to Lone Depot Park. Kick off the night for Fiesta Fridays, presented by Budweiser. $5 beers, fiery 305 eats, and a post-game Miami-style or a Loca. Get your tickets now, marlins.com/Fridays. Again, marlins.com/Fridays for the details on Fiesta Fridays. But every day is a good day when the Marlins are in town to go see the ball game. Marlins baseball is the best, man. Come join your Miami Marlins all season long at Lone Depot Park. Get loud and show off the colors of your culture. Bring your flags. Bring your instruments. It's a party. Taste the flavors of the 305 with these menu items that they have there. International eats and drinks. It's always a party. Get your tickets today. Marlins.com/tickets.
Speaking of parties, it's Tina's birthday, and she joins us on Theoretically Speaking when we come back on ESPN 106.3.